Dr. Chukwurah here. A few weeks ago, I started a series of videos introducing the idea of the bullies of the mind. And basically, what I mean by that phrase is anything that prevents us from maxing out our lives, anything that makes us turn back and away from pursuing our ultimate joy and happiness, anything that makes us turn back and away from showing the truest and the fullest expression of ourselves as a human being, anything that makes us do that is a bully of the mind. And so a few weeks ago, I started off talking about one of the members of this club, and I called it the fear of failure. Subsequently, in another video, I talked about another member of this club, and I called it the fear of the greatness that's within us. So today, for a moment or two, I do want to talk about another member of this club, and I'm calling it discouragement. So before I get into this, I do want to say this, and this is something I wished I had learned at a much earlier age. I eventually learned it growing up as a child and as a teenager in Nigeria, West Africa. But again, this is something I wished every individual would learn at a much earlier age, and that's this. Life is a fight. Life is an absolute fight for territory, for enterprise, for joy, for peace, for tranquility. Anything that we want to have and enjoy in our lives requires absolute fight. And it's a fight that must be won. It's a fight that we must put ourselves into in a place where we cannot retreat. We cannot retreat from this fight. We have to give it our all, and we must win. What I'm saying, though, is that life is a fight, and one of these things that we have to fight is discouragement. Discouragement is bold. Discouragement is absolutely subtle, and it'll walk into a poor person's home. It'll walk into the projects, no problem. It'll walk into a middle-class home, no problem. It'll walk into a mansion, and while the occupant is sitting in there, hanging out there, and enjoying the fruits of their labor, sitting by the poolside, discouragement will come and creep up right next to them, pull up one of those pool chairs and hang out and say, "What's up, man? Life ain't worth living. Life sucks. There's nothing good about your life. Yeah, you're hanging out there enjoying this beautiful stuff, but something bad is about to happen." And that's the other thing I do want to talk about is this. I mean, why do we feel so discouraged? None of us are born with discouragement. Children are not born with discouragement. And discouragement is a particular type of fear. And I'll get back to this here in a second, but I remember just a few weeks ago, I was talking with one of the ladies in our church. She was talking about her 2-year-old son who has absolutely no fear for gravity. No fear of gravity whatsoever. He'll jump off a chair. He'll jump off the bed, jump off a table, and land as if he was a bird. And he has no fear for gravity. He'll hurt himself to get back up and do it again. So, since none of us are born with discouragement, something does absolutely happen during the course of life through experience. We get discouragement creeps into our lives, and our impulse to dream, our impulse to dream for beautiful things gets beaten away out of us because of life's experiences. Those painful experiences that we have, we accumulate through our lives, and we allow to creep into our soul, into our heart, and become part of the fabric of our lives. Those painful experiences ultimately beat the impulse to dream, the impulse to long for beauty and joy, to feel that we not deserve, but we are worthy of beautiful things. That impulse gets beaten away from us. And so we go about our lives discouraged. But there's this notion that when something good happens to us in our life, when beauty and success comes into our life, there's this false notion that because something good has happened to you in your life, something bad, equally bad perhaps, is about to creep into your life. So when something good happens to you in your life, something bad is about to happen. There could be nothing further away from the truth than this notion. Just because something good happens to you in your life is not an indication that something bad is about to happen. That is a false notion which is absolutely fraught with nothing good except misery. It is only fraught with misery, and it'll drag you down a gulf of misery where you cannot climb out, and that gulf is full of woe. It is absolutely full of woe. It's full of unhappiness, full of dissatisfaction, full of a feeling that we don't matter, that we are We're unprofitable. There's nothing good about us. It'll fill us with that feeling that we're not fabulous, we're not beautiful, we're not talented, we're not gorgeous. All the opposites of beauty and happiness in life. And I don't know where this notion comes from, but I tell you this, there's nothing to be gained, nothing to be enjoyed, nothing worthwhile from feeling miserable. Misery makes people sick. Misery ultimately results in death. People feel miserable despite all the fluff of life they've accumulated. In spite of all the riches they've accumulated, you'll hear a certain rich person, oh, this person took their life, this person overdosed on this or that. Because of discouragement, it'll creep up into your life and it'll hang out by you, and you will break up the piñata with this discouragement. And discouragement at the end of this party that you have hosted in your life, or discouragement, will tell you all is lost and all is not worth living for. Please, I beg you, if you are one person out there who is fighting discouragement, I beg of you to please reconsider it. Discouragement is fraught with misery. There's certain times when we can't really fight this battle by ourselves. I mean, gosh, nobody expects any of us. I don't expect myself to be able to fight this fear of discouragement by myself. I mean, I have good people in my life that I lean on and I talk to. I do these videos because they're very therapeutic for me. But this is not something that you are meant to fight and fight alone. There are people out there, and as a physician, I am a proponent of recommending that if somebody is fighting depression or discouragement in their life and they've given it their all and they feel like their all and their best is enough, but they're still feeling like they're losing, I recommend that you speak with a professional. Speak with somebody, because please, please, please do not let this kind of thing fester in your life, because it leads nowhere but misery and absolute endless woe. It will beat out of us the impulse to dream and to want beautiful things. There's nothing to be gained from shrinking from the beauties of life, from the joy of life and the happiness of life. There's nothing to be gained from shrinking. All of us are meant to shine. All of us are meant to be happy. We are absolutely all worthy of the beautiful things and the joy in life. And please, please, please do not let yourself be a victim of discouragement. And here, in closing, here's what I do want to say. Our life is mostly affected by the way we think things are, not by the way they truly are. It's the way we think things are. The way we think things are is what affects us most. And discouragement is the master at twisting and turning and giving us this false impression that all is lost, when truly all is not lost. It's just the beginning. It's just opening up the door to beauty and tranquility and the best things in your life. But discouragement will make you think otherwise and tell you all is lost. And there's nothing to be found with that except misery, absolute misery and endless woe. And so, my friends, in conclusion, please, please remember life loves you. Gosh, just remember life loves you. We're all in this together. All of us face disappointment. All of us face discouragement. All of us are going to have our own particularized challenges, those challenges that are just meant for us. But just because challenge comes into our life is no indication that we're doing something bad. Neither is it an indication that all is lost and all hope is lost. And again, when something good happens to you in your life, it is not an indication that something bad equally is about to happen. No, false notion, fraught with misery. Please remember life loves you. And as you go out for the rest of this week, please remember that and embrace life. And remember, not only does life love you, but God loves you as well.